Hello everyone, I'm Ovi Georgiel and I'm running the cloud practice at Ingram. It is my absolute pleasure to invite you to watch the next episode of Think Out Cloud podcast. It's an episode we've recorded together with our good friend Ape from Microsoft during our sales kickoff. It is an episode that covers a lot of Copilot, and the great news is that in the meantime, Copilot has been made available on CSP as well. Enjoy. Welcome to episode 4 of the Thinking Out Cloud podcast, coming to you live from the Sales Kickoff 2024, proudly presented by Ingram Micro and Microsoft. And in this episode, we are diving deep into the transformation of the IT channel and exploring the exciting opportunities that lie ahead. My name is Ovi Georgiel and I run the cloud and cyber practice for Ingram. And our guest today is Ape Obangayang. He is the partner sales director at Microsoft. So Ape, could you please describe your role and how you collaborate with Ingram?
Fantastic, absolutely. Thank you, Ovi, and really glad to be back here. It's come back home, as you know. I've had a lovely, warm welcome from a lot of folks that I've worked with over here at Ingram over the years. So my role today at Microsoft is really twofold. One, I have the pleasure of leading the distribution partner ecosystem, and to be honest, leading the likes of Nehal really are the ones who lead, as you know. I'm kind of just a figurehead and moosh off their great hard work. And then the other role that I have is the channel sales role, and leading that channel sales organization. And that team is really about building partner pipeline and co-selling with our partner ecosystem, both within distribution, but also within our direct LSP ecosystem.
Okay, I mentioned earlier channel transformation, and the IT industry has undergone significant changes in the past 10 years with all the advancements that we see in technology and really the rise of new trends. So, Ape, could you share your insights into the evolution of the IT channel over the past decade?
Yeah, for sure. I'll try my best with this. Going back a decade, you do know you're dating us now. You're really starting to show our age. But I was catching up with a few old colleagues earlier, and I remember, look, this is my first real proper job after uni was here at Ingram, and I had the pleasure of starting my technology industry journey here, thanks to a number of individuals, including Matt in here. And then it was really the traditional pick, pack, and ship type role. Things like MSPs were just emerging. And the role of the channel and the role of distribution was very kind of straightforward about getting goods from A to B in the main, and of course credits and so on. Fast forward to sort of 2010 and beyond, you started to see an emergence of things like converged infrastructure, and so you're seeing compute, storage, and of course management software all coming into one unit, and that was bringing a whole new reality and a whole new way of having to really develop technology infrastructure. And so services were starting to become even more of a need, and the whole thing of sort of break fix was starting to become far more prevalent back then. But something else was starting to happen around that period is the emergence of cloud. Some of you may recall BPOS, which was really the first outing of Microsoft. And that was sort of later it was 2012, 2013. But that's really the first foray into cloud, and we're seeing cloud start to come to its own. And so by the mid-2015 onwards, cloud was absolutely the thing. So that meant there was a very different role that the channel distribution and aggregation of technology was really the thing. Cloud commerce platforms start to emerge, as you know, with what is now Advantage, but back then what was Odin, and I think you still have it under Cloud Blue. Thank you. I should remember that, shouldn't I? Really, that's a bad mark on me. And Cloud Blue and so on. So cloud commerce platforms become really the thing in the world of cloud. And then fast forward to 2020 and beyond, where you see digital transformation really being accelerated, driven by the pandemic and what's going on in there, you're starting to see really technology becoming the forefront of any industry, of any operation. It's sort of, the most important infrastructure or element of any business in terms of creating value. And of course, it'd be remiss of me if I don't mention now, and I'm sure we'll get to it later. We then go to where we are today. Guess what I'm going to come up with?
Copilot?
Oh, wow. So we've planned this. So AI becomes the big thing. And so what you're going to see with AI, there's a number of things. We talked about cloud marketplaces, Xvantage, which you guys I know we'll be talking about even more, and are really excited to see what you guys have done in terms of really bringing that whole connection of the different technologies into one platform and allowing that sort of one place to consume. You're going to see co-pilot marketplaces, I think, become a reality in due course. And then you will see AI marketplaces become a reality. And so when you think about that, what does that mean in terms of how do I consume technology depending on what type of business I am? Am I a small business? Which industry am I in? What's the value I'm trying to create? What are the customers I'm trying to deal with? And how does these technologies really help us come to life? So that's sort of the evolution that I would say we've seen over the last decade or so.
Really interesting. Thank you. Since you brought up the 365 Copilot, right? What opportunities do you think this new technology will create for the IT channel partners and their end customers?
Yeah. Oh, great question, and thank you for that. Look, I think the reality is for those. I mean, we have the pleasure so far of using it internally now and being part of Copilot. But some of the things that we're learning is that adoption is not as simple as, hey, I'm going to go buy Copilot and then off I go. You are going to need to really understand its use case. And so whether you're in finance, whether you're in operations, whether you're in sales, you're in marketing, how you actually consume Copilot and the value you're going to eke out of that is going to be different. So then that brings in a new reality, which is really around what I'd sort of like to call, I'm trying to think of the word now, consultancy. Let's go with that, right? There's going to be a lot more consultancy required by partners. So it's no longer, hey, I'm going to just sell you Office 365 or a piece of technology. I need to really consult with you. What is it you're doing today? Where are you trying to go? What are the different, we call it rooms of the house at Microsoft. What are the different rooms of the house doing today? And then how does this technology really start to bring to life the value you want to eke out depending on which room of the house you're in? And I think so when you think about that, that's a new service opportunity for partners, but also allows you to really start to embed greater value and sell more than just, hey, transactional. It's really about service. It's really about value creation into your customer.
Really interesting. Thank you. Let's move on now and explore the vast landscape of the opportunities that cloud presents, not only for us as a DC, but most important for our partner ecosystem. And we spoke about the increasing adoption of those cloud technologies, but what specific opportunities do you think are emerging for our channel ecosystem?
Look, I wouldn't say they're emerging because I think they've been there. Back to your question around what's happened over the last decade and cloud computing, the evolution of that. The other thing that's absolutely prevalent, if you think about the importance of technology in organizations today, any business, doesn't matter what type of business, and the key role it plays, therefore you can't afford, downtime cannot be afforded, right? Reliability of that infrastructure is very, very key. And by the way, the security of that information is now very much key. So I would say what is becoming more of a priority, so it's not emerging, but it's going higher up the stack in terms of priority, is security. Without a doubt, and if you start to think about the role of AI in market and industry, AI is only as good as the data, and so that data integrity is really, really important. And so trying to make sure that you have secured that infrastructure is key. So security is definitely what I would say at the heart of that.
And what advice would you give to partners that are looking to capitalize on these, emerging trends, if you want, so that they can stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah, sure. Look, I think the first thing is this year's. It's really exciting about this year is that we're beyond the hype curve. I think is what's and what you're going to see now is that we're moving from hype to execution. And so what does that really mean? So first thing is ask your question, well, what is it that we can do today that we couldn't do yesterday with this technology. And that's first and foremost within our own organizations, right? So I was talking to some of your own partners, actually, TrustX partners, not so long ago, their own event, and saying, look, how have you thought about what AI can do within your own operation? So that's the first thing. How does it, because unless you understand how it's helped you as an organization, how can you go and help a customer understand? And you can talk more credibly then with the customer about the emergence of this technology. Look at what it's done for us. Here's how we've saved money. Here's how we've had. It's one of your customers actually, or one of your partners. They have a customer that was receiving something like I think it's 500 invoices a day that needed to be processed, and they had something like 2 people aligned to just doing those particular invoices, processing those invoices. They were able to, with the process automation and AI, they were able to automate that whole process and essentially relieve those 2 individuals and put them not make them redundant, as perhaps another story would be. They put them on more higher value activity. But understanding that and then being able to take that to a customer and say, hey, we can really let's talk about some of your biggest pain points. What are your biggest cost challenges? And what are the things where you're really not eking out that much value? And so we can use automation as an example, has to come from you understanding the technology and what it's done for you within your own organization. So my advice here would be, first and foremost, what are the things we can do within our own business today that we can leverage AI as an example to actually help us be far more efficient, help reduce our costs, help us be more optimized, but also, by the way, AI as a route to growth. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. Although, by the way, there's a sweepstake on us, and apparently this is supposed to be 15 minutes. And I know at the moment there's a 38-minute sweepstake winner. And I think you're probably going to win on that, Mike. So, go on.
Now, over to you now, Ape.
It's now down to me. Look, the other thing is, in terms of opportunity, before I get to my cards, is that, look, in my role, I have the pleasure of meeting customers and exec sponsoring opportunities out there. And one of the things that's really also prevalent is that the IT decision or the technology decision is no longer in the IT room, right? It is now firmly in the board. Absolutely, it's firmly with the CIO. I was with a customer a few months ago, and they're a theatre company, multiple sites, multi-million-pound operation, and they were talking about how they digitally transform in the discovery and what we call the executive briefing center. The people leading the conversation, it was a CEO, it was a COO, and it was a CFO. It was not the CTO or the CIO. They were in the background. So we're seeing more of that now. If you think about that context, that's where as well other opportunities for partners are going to come, because you're now really talking to the C-suite about organizational effectiveness, growth, and efficiency, all at the board level, who ultimately sign off budgets. So that's something also to be aware of. Right, so
Really interesting.
I believe there's a question for you here. But I'm really curious. So it's been a while since I've been in the depths of Ingram. So, but I know you're one of our key partners. Always enjoy seeing, watching, observing, and being part of where you're going, and how you're helping us bring these technologies to life is key. The importance of distribution has never been more highlighted, shall we say, since the emergence of co-pilots, but of course the full move to cloud, and of course since the pandemic. So can you tell me what Ingram are doing to support partners in transforming in terms of new technologies?
Yeah, sure. I think I link it first to what you mentioned earlier, right? It's critical in order to be able to promote something to be an adopter, right? You need to adopt technology, and I think this is the first thing I was mentioned, which is Xvantage.
Yeah.
It's our new platform. It's got loads of AI, data powered, and I think this is the proof that we've adopted AI. We are utilizing AI internally, and we are leveraging this in order to support our channel partners, to advance with all those emerging trends. The second one I would mention is a tool which we have developed 24 months ago in partnership with Microsoft. It's called Consult, and we have seen huge success. It's basically offering a very personalized experience, and it's tailored to the end customer need. It doesn't speak about the product. It takes the end customer through a journey, identifying the real need, and offering a solution to the need rather than a SKU. And again, linked to Copilot, I think we are way ahead of the curve in terms of all the Copilot AI readiness assessments that we can do through our service organization, but also the dedicated support from our specialists at Ingram Micro. I do want to highlight one thing. We've had a webinar a couple of days ago, over 400 attendees on a webinar around Copilot. Our colleague Alex has done a live demo of how Copilot is working. Even more interesting is that the webinar overran, I think, 30, 40 minutes. And at the end of the webinar, we still had around 280 people. So again, this is how we are trying, and this is what we are doing to support our channel ecosystem.
Interesting. And I think what I'm hearing there is the first thing is tooling, right? So really offering partners tooling that really helps them supercharge their growth and their potential in the market. The second thing I'm hearing is really around advisory capability, which is that consult piece and how you really drive and really talk to some of the things I'd mentioned earlier about the change and the importance of really bringing technology to meet the business challenge, the business need in there. And then the last thing I think I'm hearing is there that the enablement and how you drive enablement is still at the heart and the importance of bringing these technologies to life with partners.
It is indeed. Thank you so much, Ape. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.